Welcome to Life Coaches Unfiltered, where Desiree, Dory, and Michelle, three life coaches, are here to answer the questions you have, but we're afraid to ask. No fluff, no filters, just real talk to help you navigate life's big challenges. Let's dive in.
Hey, we're back for season 2, episode 1 of Life Coaches Unfiltered. How y'all doing today?
Good, it's good to be back. Had a nice little break,
You
nice
missed us?
vacation as well.
You went to Jamaica.
I know, Jamaica me crazy, baby. It was great. It was wonderful to just relax on the beach, by the pool, not have to think about anything. I read one book. I mean, it was a very small book, but then the rest of the time I was just there with my thoughts.
Were they good
Good.
thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say good thoughts or bad thoughts. Was that a
Well,
good
I was
thing or a
talking
bad
to you,
thing?
Desiree, at some point of my vacation.
Oh, yeah, that was
Good
fun.
thoughts.
But no, they were good thoughts. They were good thoughts. Just, thinking about, you know, up to half of the year is nearly done. What do I want to do for the rest of the year? And, what do I want to do in the business, business wise? So yeah. And then yeah, some exciting things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dory, are you all settled in with your move?
I am, yeah. Everything is here. I have to send post some pictures of my tower garden. If you need some lettuce, Desiree, my
Yeah.
butter lettuce, I have like three of them. They're like this big right now, just like so. Yeah, everything is here, all settled in, and now I'm like, looking for my next project to work on.
Now that you're growing a small garden in the corner.
That's so funny. You
Yes,
want
yeah.
to
Now it's time to work on then I got the patio furniture. I got everything is set up, and so it's nice. It's really, really nice. Now if I can just I've been traveling a lot myself too. I was in Tampa and went to see a friend in Tampa, and then I was in my hometown this past weekend, and I think you and I were talking about it. I was looking at real estate while I was there, just to find some sort of Airbnb type situation that I could do. Yeah, I'm excited. But Desiree and I were like, okay, so you settle down and then you start riling things up again. That's kind of can't be still.
cool.
Ah.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome. So I want to take a quick moment, like we talk about like what's going on in our business. Like I've been working on some businessy stuff. Like I haven't had like big long vacations. I don't know. Your Tampa thing was like a long weekend.
it
I did
was.
a I did a little mini weekend kind of thing. We went to see waterfalls in North Carolina. It was nice.
That's beautiful. That's nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's nice when you can just drive up to the waterfall, get out of the car, and be like, "Oh, that's beautiful. Let's get back in the car." It feels like cheating when you don't have to like hike
It does.
miles. Yes, we did a lot of cheater waterfalls. It was nice. But also we went and saw the blue ghost fireflies, which was pretty cool. But next year I would like to go earlier so I could. They were kind of on their way out by the time we got up
Oh.
there. But yeah, interesting stuff. But yeah, so wanted to just do a quick round robin, like what's going on in your business? What are you focused on? Are you building something? Are you hosting something? What's going on in your business?
Well, you start first,
You
Desiree.
start. I was just about to say,
Yeah.
you start.
I am I'm partnering with some local folks. Like as many of y'all, our listeners know, we all met in a networking group. So other people in my networking group, we're gonna do some joint presentations. We're gonna do a 6-month series at a local funeral home, which sounds terrible. It might sound terrible, but it's actually a super, super awesome facility. And we're going to be partnering with some other complementary businesses to help people who are navigating life's journey and doing some pre-planning for end of life services. And we have estate planning attorneys that are going to be talking. We've got some home care companies and senior placement specialists. So it's all how can we work together? So I'll be talking about grief in the holidays. I'll be doing my in-person presentation in December. So
That's
that's
awesome.
exciting working with
Amazing.
that group. Yeah, I was like, oh, I could totally talk about grief in the holidays. My mom died right 2 days after Thanksgiving. My dad died 2 days
Ooh.
after Christmas. Like grief in the holidays is like, yeah, got that. Yeah. So that's exciting and fun. And it's been, that's what I've been doing in my time off and probably going to do some web series. Oh, I forgot. One of the coolest people as part of that series is somebody else from our networking group, Joanne Payne, who helps handle all of the like administrative crap that comes after divorce, or loss of a loved one, or even when people are aging. And she is all she was the mastermind behind this whole series.
I can
And
personally vouch for her, by the
she's
way. She
yeah,
is absolutely incredible.
she's
Yeah.
amazing. And she's a Brit. Michelle,
Yeah,
you met
buddy.
her. And
We don't
anyway,
hold that against her.
she's awesome. So she and I are going to be partnering and doing some Eventbrite events on like the emotional side of loss and the tactical. Like, people don't realize they're grieving and then they have this pile of paperwork.
Yes.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's like a double whammy. So when I met her, and I was like, oh, this business is brilliant because people need you. So if you're navigating any of that stuff, yeah, that's exciting, fun stuff. All right. Other stuff that y'all are working on.
Well, Michelle and I have been doing a series together for parents,
Yes.
helping them to bridge the gap in the communication. So Michelle and I both worked with young adults, and so we've been working on a series with Dr. Candace Holmes as well to help parents to understand that their young adults are not exactly as they think they are. They're not thinking the same way. And I think a lot of times parents assume that when I was your age, this is the way that it was. And that's just, you can't say that because it's not the same. It is absolutely not the same. So we've been working on that. I've also been working on my speaking. Um, I've been putting together some signature talks and have really been focused on that area, an aspect of my career, if you will, and making good headway there. So I've got 3 signature talks that I've been putting together, going to be applying for some different events. Excited about it. Super, super excited. That's one of my major dreams. People listening, dreams are so important. So, so important. And my dreams, as I can remember, has been to be on a stage and speaking and talking to people about hope and faith and being able to carry themselves through. So my talks are about what I call living through the gray and finding peace and hope in the gray area. That's the stage of when something really bad happens, which kind of is our topic a little bit today. Until that next thing that comes, that you find that light at the end of the tunnel. So what happens in the gray? That's what my talks are about. Super excited about it.
Michelle.
Nice. So I just wanted to plug our next parent series if anyone is interested. It's going to be August 28th. So that's our next webinar series on the parent series. And I don't know, I'm kind of not a little bit low key, but I kind of feel that I'm in this planning phase. I'm thinking of planning, well, trying to put together a retreat for women in Georgia. So you have to live in Georgia, or you can just come to Georgia. Um, and thinking this for October time, so in the fall. So there could be some goal setting for the new year. I'm also bringing in my business partner because I've got a business partner, and she also does kind of career coaching. So we're kind of gonna amalgamate our things together. So we're in the kind of planning stages of that. Um, and that's pretty much it. I'm trying to not to do too many things, because it can get a little bit overwhelming. Obviously, I'm still coaching, and I'm also thinking about doing a retreat in Georgia, and then I'm also thinking about doing a trip for women over 40 internationally or maybe domestically. So maybe in Arizona, Utah, somewhere where we can do some wellness things. And so I'm kind of putting that together. And what I might do actually, if for our podcast listeners, if you are a woman and you're over 40 and you're just kind of like, oh, this sounds interesting, I've got a survey that I would love for you to fill out just so I can get some information. Um, so I want to be intentional about this trip and, I want people to get out quite a lot. If you're interested in yoga, if you're interested in meditation, or if you want to have kind of like a little workshop and stuff, I'm kind of, again, just gathering information and research, but I'm kind of excited. So yeah, planning 2 trips maybe and continuing coaching and the
Awesome.
parent series and
Awesome.
appearing on other people's podcasts.
Yay. I mean, there's a lot going on when you run a business and you're like, oh, I have all this
I
time in the
know.
world, and then you sit down to do stuff, and you're like, this is gonna take longer than I thought.
Yeah, I've been following Bob Proctor. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Bob Proctor. If you've ever seen the movie The Secret, he's in The Secret, and I do a lot of studies with him. And one of the things this is this study that I'm doing, it says you have 72 extra hours in the week after you do da 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 da. And I'm like, tell me where those are again, please, because I don't like. I think I'm even working when I'm sleeping. I'm like, I feel like everything's just still kind of like going. And if I do this and this and this and this and this, and so I wake up and I'm like, yes, I have a plan.
Yeah.
Yep. So today we are talking about standing up when life knocks you down. Life knocks you down. So a lot of times during the last couple years I've said like I feel like I'm living in the Chumbawamba song from the 90s. I get knocked
I get
down.
knocked
I get up
down,
again.
I get up again. If you ever gonna beat me down, I get knocked
It's like
down. That's my singing for everyone.
that is our theme song for today. Uh so if you feel like you're living in the Chumbawamba song, um this episode is for you. Yeah, so just discussion about we're going to talk about like what does that look like? Like how does that feel? Strategies, that kind of thing. So, if we're talking about like what is getting knocked down in life, like what does that look like? What has been your experience? What have you seen in clients? Anybody want to
Oh,
start?
oh. Well, what have I seen in clients? I've seen people lose their jobs. I've
Hmm.
been one of them too. I'm sure we've all experienced that. Never experienced that before, and was that was an emotional roller coaster. Really was. Um, I just, again in my head, I'm like, why me? Why was I on that chopping block? Why did you pick me when I have great scores? My, what do you call them? End of year review
Like,
type
yeah.
thing was great. My feedback from the classes that I was delivering was great. So it's just like, why me? And then obviously you go in that spiral of, well, it's this and it's this. And then you start kind of making up. I'm not saying making up because maybe some of it might be true, but we kind of also tend to exaggerate a little bit and make things up, and then you just kind of spiral out of control. And then you go to the angry side. So it's kind of like this emotional roller coaster of I should feel sorry for myself, and then I should be pissed off with the people who fired me. And, why did they do that? And obviously they're losing good talent, and, they're never going to get me. They're never going to get one of me again. And, you just kind of go back and forth. And it's hard.
And
It's
it's
hard.
exhausting because
Oh
your
gosh.
brain is trying to
Yeah.
make sense of something, but then it's
Yeah.
also tugging at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs of taking care of yourself
Yeah.
because your income is tied to that. And then in our
Yes.
society, our identity is tied to what we do, and our social standing is tied to how much money we make. Like it's just, that is a,
Yeah.
if people have
Well,
not been laid off or lost their job, I don't think they understand the mind trap that is on the other side. I had a friend that got laid off from a job I used to work with her. She was a former coworker. And when she first told me, I said, "Hey, just be prepared. It's a mind F.
Yeah.
It's gonna screw with your head. And I just want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you if that happens." And
Right.
she like reached out a couple weeks later. She's like, "Oh my God, it is." So that's a good example, Michelle. Dory.
Yeah.
Oof.
I think I'm going to use a different example is breakups. Breakups are another thing. Same sort of scenario too, right? Like, what did I do wrong?
Yep.
Especially if you're the broke, what is it, the brokey? On the one that got broken up with, you're gonna go through all of these different things, or cheating. And when cheating's involved too, that is woof. So I had a client who was cheated on, and good. I mean, I was like, you finding the lining in it. It was like she didn't go back. He tried to like creep his way back into her world, and she was like, absolutely not.
As
That was
always.
a deal breaker. But I mean, she was heartbroken, and she was like, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Why didn't I see the signs? Stupid me. All of these different things of where you go back, you kind of go back into the past of everything and try to like make everything make sense, and it doesn't make sense.
Mm.
And it can really be tough when you're in a breakup situation, even with friends, but especially a romantic or a marriage or something like that. Having been through a divorce myself, I know that feeling of just kind of that devastation. And I thought for myself, this will never happen to me. I waited till I was 30 to get married to, foolproof this, where it was not going to be where I'm too young and all of that stuff. I, did it the right way. And then when I got divorced, I was like, how could this happen to me? I thought I was being smart and trying to wait until I was older and doing, choosing the right person. Did not. And, red flag, red flag, but I didn't see them. So, that's one. What about you, Desiree?
Um, it has been like I have a lot of people going through medical crises right now in my life,
Mm.
and that's oh, it brought back a memory of a client I worked with a little while ago who was in her like she was in college and she was having some medical stuff that was uh requiring her to change some lifestyle factors. And
Mm.
so someone hired me to work with her to help her to figure that out, navigate it. And so it can that's a huge one is when you get news of unexpected news of a medical diagnosis or something happens and people are like, wait, this wasn't in the plan, like because I think what happens when that happens, there's always, in my opinion, grief involved.
Mm.
And one of the telltale signs of grief for me is when I wake up and think, oh, I had a terrible dream that my mom got diagnosed with ALS or my dad died or whatever, right? Or I lost my job or, I got diagnosed with this, horrible thing. Um, and then you realize, oh, no, no, that's my life right now, right? And like that for me is just a like, oh, this is grief. And anyway, so there's always grief involved in that. I don't know that people recognize that, but also, our brain is trying to make sense out of it. So anyway, it
Yeah.
can come
It
from any direction. That's the crappy news.
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Um, and
It's
so how else have you guys seen people respond when they are going through it?
whew. I mean, I would say they kind of feel like they sh just shut down.
Yeah.
They just I feel like they're hermits. Don't want to talk to anyone, don't want to be with anyone, just want to be by themselves. And I'm just kind of like, that's kind of like the worst thing that that you could do, be with your thoughts. Because again, they can spiral. I mean, what helped me was just talking to people and even the people who'd experienced having a layoff, I was just like, how did you cope? What are your coping mechanisms? Yes, even though as a life coach, I still needed that help of like getting through it. And, yes, I'll use some of my strategies, but I also wanted to speak to other people who had been laid off and how they coped and what they did. And journaling helped me. I had to do more meditation because again, I was in that horrible headspace. And so, I kind of tell my clients, if you have been laid off, journal, get those thoughts out instead of like housing them in here because they don't need to be long in here for a very long time. Meditate, go for a walk, just get out, just clear the air, and obviously looking for a job right now is like horrific, and I won't go into that. So, you've got to have some strategies in place because it's dark in the job world right now. It's very dark.
Well,
And I
well,
read
sorry,
those
go ahead.
posts on LinkedIn of people who have been out of work for 12, 18 months and are struggling.
One
So,
of one of the things I tell my clients though, it, in this too, though, is you know, same is where am I trying to go with this? I have clearly not had enough coffee this morning. My I was thinking about when you said that about like not talking about it. It's because we're on the side of grieving in my house, right? It hasn't been a year yet. It's almost a year. I can't believe it's almost been a year. Um, and I was talking to my yesterday was my husband's birthday. And so my stepdaughter and I went to dinner and I said, "How are you dealing with this? I don't hear you talk a lot about like what's going on." And her response to me was, "I don't want to weigh people down with what I'm feeling." And because it ties to what you're saying, Michelle, is like, I think that we all think that we have to carry this burden alone. Like we're afraid to share because we don't want to burden other people. And I
yeah,
think while that is some ways very insightful, if you think about other people are going through things, because that's what I always tell my client too, when they're like, "Oh, that person cut me off in traffic." I'm like, other people are going through things. It's not all about you, that you don't know what happened. They may have gotten a bad call and they're rushing somewhere and their mind is clearly not on the road or whatever. But on the same token though, knowing that there are people, if you've got really good friends, they're going to listen to you over and over and over and over again, talking about that breakup, talking about your grief, talking about your job situation, and just knowing that good friends are there to be there for you. And then there's also good networks of people too who are going through it or have helped people go through it, or there's coaches that can help you to work through these situations so it's not a burden you have to bear by yourself.
yeah, totally.
And it's the doorway to connection, like by sharing what's going on. Like it's kind of two sides to this. Like you can get stuck in your story, where, you're not making progress. But sometimes a good friend can jolt you out of that of like, hey, I feel like, but then also that can feel like judgment. So that is really that can be hard. Um, but I think there's also this pressure to always get back up more quickly, like
Yeah.
keep going. Like there's this whole like uh attitude of resilience of like just get back up there and get out there and like I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but like somebody, jokingly said after a divorce, it's like, oh, the best way to get over somebody
Is
is
under
to
them.
Get under somebody.
yeah, and it's like, really, guys? Like, really? And so you hear all these like
That's a terrible idea, by
kind
the
of
way.
cringy things, but also like, just start dating again or just
Yeah.
start looking for a job. Like I remember I had a setback in my coaching, finishing my coaching school. I had a setback, and I was so hell bent on getting back out there and finishing this one piece that it's like I was running headfirst into the wall, and I could not. And people were like, Desiree, just take a minute, take a beat, right? And so then I went and sat down, and I was like, I until I figure out what I am doing wrong, I am not gonna, I'm not gonna keep doing this because it was not productive. And it was my other fellow coaches in my cohort that were like, hey, maybe stop trying so hard. Maybe sit and zoom out and get some perspective. Um, but yeah, so like, I would say resist the need to feel like you can fix it right away.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's like what you told me all the time, Desiree, around the grief process too. And every person is different. You you can't slap a band-aid on it and just say, I should be done by now because it's this, or I should be like looking for a job. Sometimes it sends you reeling where you have to like go, I don't even know, like, because layoffs, so those are usually there's someone jerking the rug right out from under you. You have no idea. I mean, you may have like an idea it's coming. When I was in my not early in my career, but like in my around 30, something like that, I was working for a startup company, and we were putting our work in, and we were all in it together. We were trying to really make this thing work. And we came in one day, and they said, as of today, we're closed. And by the way, we can't pay you for the last 2 weeks that you worked here. And that was, I mean, talking about like, and by the way, give us your laptop back. And so,
I'll sell it for my two
you're
weeks
walking
of
out like you're thinking,
salary.
remember Enron? Do you guys remember Enron?
Yes.
And they were talking about the people, and I knew someone who lived in Texas at the time, and saw these people walking out with these boxes in their hands and this glazed look on their face, like they just been like just walking around, like this. And I feel like that sometimes when this kind of thing happens, that's what you feel like. You're just kind of like in this daze of like, you have your box with all your shit in it, right? And you're just walking around going, what just what just happened? And where am I go? What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah. Well, it's like this, it's like yeah, it is a glazed look. And
Yeah.
I think I was speaking to someone who, in the last week, who's really got a family member who's going through it, like really very serious medical stuff. And, just like this person was traveling on business, and is having to have these really difficult conversations about their loved one's care. And like, it's just like, how do you, I remember like I was traveling on business and there was some stuff going down with my mom. And, it was like, it was also holiday time. Like, it was a mess. And I'm like, can life just take a beat? Like, really? Can I just have a moment where stuff isn't like raining down on me? And sometimes you have no clue what people, are walking. And so like anytime I'm kind of walking and I see somebody with a glazed look or really emotional, I just kind of send them quietly some peace and love, right?
Yeah.
Because we have no idea what could be happening. Even people that have these picturesque lives that look amazing on social media or, in public, you have no idea what really could be happening.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors.
Yeah, like we focus a lot on image and how we are perceived by other people and not wanting people to know that we're struggling, but in the same sense, like it may not be serving us or the greater human good.
I will tell you, one of the things that I learned when I was getting sober, was that, service work for me is very good. So as a friend, and I say this because you both are my friends and all my friends out there, please lean on me because that helps me. Sometimes you don't know like what I'm going through. And if someone calls me and goes, hey, I need help, sometimes you're helping me claw out of my own stuff too. And you don't know it. So, tell people just reach out for help. It's not asking for help is not being helpless. It is a way of just being able to say, I just need, do you have a minute? And if you don't want me to fix it or help you to fix it, just say, I just need to talk. Can you just, Dory, keep your mouth shut? Let me just, don't try to fix me. Just listen. Just listen.
And if you're feeling stuck, maybe go out and do some kind of service work. So like
Yes.
go work at a thrift store or go, help a neighbor. Like, because that gives you a sense of purpose, especially when you lose your job, right?
Yes.
If you're sitting at home applying for jobs, feeling like you're stuck in the algorithm and nobody and the computers are spitting your resume out or whatever your brain is making up, take a half a day, take a day and go do something for somebody else.
Or
And
animals.
yeah, go walk dogs at the dog shelter. Y'all would not believe it helps you, but try to break that pattern of the thinking. It gives you it yeah, it kind of takes you out of your element.
And I feel like once you start making momentum of getting out of this energy that you're in of being that kind of stuck and just kind of like once you start making movement out of that, the ball just starts to roll. It may start rolling very slowly, but the momentum can pick up. I tell clients all the time when they come in, they're like, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. I'm like, you're not stuck anymore. You've already made the first step. You made the first step to change doing what you're doing into doing something different. And it may not be the direction that you think you need to go. Talking about the job situation and stuff, you know, sometimes it's like, don't look for the same job you've been looking for. Maybe change it up a little bit. Maybe do something different. Try to try to think outside of the box or do something a little bit different and something unexpected may happen.
Yeah, I think it's to your point, Dora, I think people just get comfortable with what they've done. And it's like, well, either I'm too old to go and veer into a different direction, or I just don't have the skills. And it's just kind of like, no, I'm sure you can transfer some of those skills. And
Yes.
trust me, every job description that you read, I mean, sometimes you could have 100% of all the skills, but nine times out of 10, no one's gonna have all of the skills, all of them.
Yeah.
There's it's not going to happen. Um, but apply. You never know. You never know what harm could happen. Yes, getting the now we can also have a conversation about getting the rejection letters because that's a whole nother process of like they didn't even read my resume and it automatically got rejected within like 6 seconds or something along those lines. That's a whole nother conversation. But you know, you can easily transfer your skills to other roles that you may find interesting. Or, again, as we are business owners, create your own business. Yes, it's going to be challenging, but you can reach out to us to ask us advice on how to get it started and what we do in order to get our clients. And, you know, everyone does things differently, even though there's a lot of noise on social media saying, I can earn $1 million with and work 10 hours, and I'm just kind of like bullshit. Um, so you just got to shut off the noise, but you can do whatever you can do with the skills that you have, and you can definitely venture out. And again, if you need help or if you need that support of friends to kind of give you that confidence, then we're here. We're here. Your friends should be there to kind of help you because I think, I ventured out of teaching. Was it scary? Yes, but I did it. And I read again lots of posts on LinkedIn. Oh, I'm really scared to jump out of teaching because that's all I know.
Yeah.
Well, think about teachers. Think about all the things, all the skills that you have as a teacher and how that can translate into whatever job. You could go ed tech, you could go product management, you could go instructional design. There are many jobs that teachers can do, but it's that mindset, and we're kind of narrow-minded, like all I do is teach, 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 you
Yeah.
know.
I think people get so married to a goal or an idea or how they envision things unfolding in their head.
Mm.
And one of the people that I love to follow is Mike Dooley, and he talks about like focus on the emotion and what you want your goal, but let go of the how it's going to happen.
Yes.
And like so with the job loss, it's like I don't understand why this is happening, but it could be sending you on a detour to another career or to a better job. Or I think the most important piece in that in any major like life shift is our mindset. Because people can get stuck in that victim mentality and it's not serving them, and it's entrenching them in those negative thought patterns. And like I remember after my divorce, there was somebody in my support group and she was mad and her husband cheated, and she was like, "Well, my goal was to be a stay-at-home mom and I don't want to give up that dream." And I looked at her at one point and was like, the thing that is getting me through is that I refuse to believe that the best years of my life are behind me. I refuse to believe that. And it's drawing me forward. And this was way before I even considered like that I was going to change careers. This is when I had, my old career. But I knew enough to know I need something to pull me forward. And it was that hope that I even bought this little ring from anyway is this little ring that was like a symbol to me after my divorce of like when I look at this little ring with a tiny little diamond and this little sunburst around it, it's going to remind me that I believe that there are sunny days ahead,
I
right?
love
That
that.
there's brightness coming. That I'm walking through this pivot and the feelings might suck, but what can I grow from? What can I learn from? How can I take this and add it to my little quiver of arrows of skills of things that I understand about myself and others and and bring brighter days to come and find the joy.
I love that, Desiree, of finding like some. I have it on my desk in my office, where I see clients. I have a tourmaline, black tourmaline heart, and it is something that I like hold when I am, in a place of kind of like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing, and it's heavy. And it's something though that keeps me kind of grounded and centered where I bought it for myself so that it reminds me of this is what I want. This is where I'm headed. So I love that about the ring too. So finding something that, you can kind of use as an anchor, like a physical reminder and anchor of what it is that you need, what you need, what you're going and what you want.
Yeah, totally. Michelle, how
Why
did
do
you keep your
we all sound sad and subdued. I'm kind of like, let's lift ourselves up. Come on. We've all got to that point. I was like, oh my God, our energy's like, I was like, come on, let's go.
we're gonna pump you up like the guys from Saturday Night Live. We're gonna pump you up. Oh, listen, we record these on Monday mornings, y'all. Yeah, it's just anyway. Sorry that do you have any mindset shift tricks for us, Michelle?
Um, Let me think. My mind's gone blank. I don't know why.
So I saw this video yesterday. There's like maybe it's a trend that's going around the tickery talkery. Um, that
Tickery
people the
tockery.
tickery talkery. That's what the old people call TikTok. I'll be here all week. I also call Instagram old lady TikTok. Um, so
Ken called it snap tick. Snap tick.
whatever. It's like, listen, we have to make fun of the youngins like at some point, but how dancing can shift your energy. So, like,
Yeah.
it is a huge like the best antidepressant is just get up and dance. And like I remember it was like I don't know a year and a half ago I was having a day, and like the back then the tickery talkery trend was to I'm going for a walk, a stupid little walk for my stupid mental health, right? And so getting up and moving, even if it's just going outside and going for like a 10-minute walk. Now, if you live in the South, it's blazing freaking hot right now. Um, but yeah, like get up a little bit early and go for a walk before this, before the somebody turns on the furnace. Um, there are things that you can do to try to the serving, getting up and serving others, and
Yeah.
that's a huge mindset shift. Those are like physical things, but like mental game,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
thought of one.
Yes.
Sorry, my mind went blank. I was like, damn, what do I tell my what do I tell my clients? Seriously, I haven't had much breakfast. Um, I like for people to write positive affirmations about themselves. Like I am, and write as many as you want, and read them over and over again. And to me, I like to have have them around on the mirror in the bedroom. I meant bathroom. See, my brain is not functioning.
Bedroom too.
Yeah,
Bedroom
I mean
works. Depends on
bedroom,
what your
wherever,
goals
well,
are.
depending on where you want to put it on on your screens, wherever. But some of my clients like those positive affirmations around their house and to kind of say it out loud about, I am amazing. I am a great employer or employee. Sorry. See, my brain is not, is this a
Well, you could be an
perimenopause
employer.
brain? This is a perimenopause brain going on today. You know, because again that's going to help with the mind shift instead of saying, oh, I'm shit, no one wants to hire me, da da da. I mean, that's just it's just negative. So the positive affirmations, writing them down, saying them out aloud, plus I like the dancing piece as well. You could probably do it whilst you're dancing, or singing in the shower or whatever. That definitely does help just to kind of get that positive mindset going because this brain it plays tricks on us every single day.
That's a very resource intensive organ.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
I'm I'm a huge believer in what you think about comes about. And so you know, I love the dancing thing. I was just thinking, Desiree, like I did a workshop many years ago and I bought it was the women that came to the workshop. I bought them all the belly dance
the
Mm.
little scarves.
things,
Hmm.
scarves, and we danced with them. And I'm like, sometimes I would even put mine on and just dance around my office. I probably look like a lunatic for the people walking by. And now you can see people walking by behind me. But I was thinking about that. But the other thing too, in alignment with the I bought the little business cards on Amazon. They have like little blank business cards, and I wrote affirmations all over mine. So if you look all over my apartment right now, on the fridge, on the mirrors, everywhere is all of my goals and my dreams. And also say I love you 10 times. I
Mm.
had that on my mirror. And so I'll actually look at myself in the mirror and go, I love you. And I think someone says Mel Robbins also says give yourself a high five.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and one other thing is, what you think about comes about. Really, when it's dating, it's about putting together a list of what you're looking for in a partner, and really thinking about what it is you want and getting it down on paper. Same thing with a job, taking the title out of the equation, take the title out and think about like what kind of culture you're looking for, what kind of size of the company you're looking for, and really getting into that feeling of what makes your heart happy and thinking about that and writing it down and putting it out. I think of it as like creating a Christmas list for Santa Claus, right? Whatever you call, what you believe in, your higher power. I don't call mine Santa Claus, by the way, but it's putting together a wish list of what that is, and it's allowing you to like get in a different headspace and a different vibration and a different way of being able to go, this was what makes my heart happy. And when that happens, you're shifting not only your mindset, you're shifting your just the way that your whole being is. And that is what you're putting out, and that's what you attract back.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah, totally. the Christmas, I have a funny little side story about that. I had that wish list and I was decluttering one day. This was a couple years ago. And somebody found it and they were like, "What is this?" And it was like, "This is the job that I have right now." And I hung it on my fridge. And I had created, this is what I want. And it, yeah, totally landed in my lap. And at a very opportune time, let's just say that. All
I have
right.
a focus wheel that I use for that too. There's so many tools.
Yes. A
Um,
focus wheel.
Hmm. Yeah,
Interesting.
I'll
Focus. You
send
have
it
to
to you.
tell us
I'm
about
gonna
this
have to
focus
learn
wheel.
Yeah.
more about this focus wheel.
Maybe we should talk about the focus wheel. Next time,
Next.
we are talking about how people numb out. So we kind of planned our episodes for the first four episodes kind of in a series of like when life sends you on this kind of a detour or, knocks you down and you stand up again. And then how, what we see happening is a lot of times people just numb because it keeps them comfortable and they just want comfort in that moment. So we'll be talking about that next time. But first, Michelle and I have a couple things. If you are navigating one of these kind of life pivots, um, we have stuff that might be helpful for you. So, Michelle, do you want to talk about how you can help folks that are going through job transitions?
Yeah, I can. So I know it's tough out there, and I'm a helper, so this is how I can give back. I am doing a special. If any of our listeners and our podcast listeners need help with any resume review, because again, I see people like, why is my resume not going through the application tracking system, and what's going on, and have I done everything right? Let me review it. Let me give you a review, give you some pointers. And then I also know that there are people who struggle with interviews right now and, what to say, and they stumble on their words, and then they're just, they're all over the place. So I'm going to kind of bundle that together so you can get a resume review, um, and you can get an interview prep, and I can help you with that. And I'm going to do it for $50 because I
Wow.
know I charge more than that. So I'll do it for $50. If you need another session, then we can have another session. It'll still be the $50. So $50 for a resume review and an interview prep. So that's a steal. And if you don't take
Yes, it is.
advantage, then you're silly.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. That is like super high value. Um,
Oh,
I put I put together a little digital document. It's a short, knowing people that are, experiencing this, like life knocks you down. It can be overwhelming. So the last thing I wanted to do was create this big, long, giant thing that people have to read. Because you don't need more overwhelm when you're overwhelmed. Ask me how I know that. And so it's a short little document with a couple things about bringing up your awareness, focused on bringing your awareness of what's going on, what your emotions might be around it, so that you can start to kind of organize how you're approaching it. And get in touch with your values, really remember who you are, and a recorded audio that will help you when you kind of feel you're feeling stuck and you need help making one of those shifts. So yeah, and then next time we're going to hear about what Dory has to offer for helping folks that might be numbing come out of that kind of cycle, and how she she'll share a little bit about what that might have looked like for her. So
does
we
yours have
can't
a
wait.
price, Desi?
Huh?
Does your offer
Oh,
have a
the
price?
price for my little mini bundle,
Yeah.
it's $11.
Oh, wow.
So super affordable. I mean, that's like you can't even go to a fast food restaurant and get out for $11 these days.
I
Love it.
know.
Um, but what I'd like to do, like I've been, kind of asking my AI assistant, like for some, talking about like this is what we're talking about. Let's come up with some, what would be some quotes that would relate to that, so we can kind of end and give somebody an anchor, our listeners a little bit anchor. So I just want to share a couple quotes, and you guys can give your input on them. What do you think? just because you feel lost doesn't mean that you are. Sometimes you have to lose the path to find your own way.
Mhm.
That's kind of hopeful.
Can I read one?
Yes.
You know the one I'm going to read, right?
No.
You may have to fight a battle more than once to win it. By
That,
Margaret Thatcher.
oh, how appropriate.
I had to pick.
Very, very
I had to pick the
British.
one from good old England, right?
Awesome.
Love it.
Um, I also love the Viktor Frankl quote, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we're challenged to change ourselves. Have you guys read his book?
Mm-mm.
No.
He was in a World War II concentration camp,
Mm.
and he wrote a book. Um, actually, um, my therapist told me to read it. Man's Search for Meaning. It was a really good book. It's an easy read, but if you're feeling knocked down from life, it might be a suggestion for you to read.
Cool.
Dory, any parting words?
I, I I was trying to think of a quote. I guess the best way to get through something is to keep moving and walk through it. um just and know that there's people there. There's people everywhere who want to help, and really being able to just ask for that help. We're offering, so you guys are offering so many cool things right now, to help people. Reach out, absolutely reach out, ask for help, and know that there are people all around who are just waiting for you to just say, I need help.
Mm.
So it's that forward momentum.
Yeah.
Start the forward momentum.
Oh, hold on. Let me backtrack. We haven't done our uncomfortable question of the week.
Ah,
Still doing that because I
wait.
remember we were doing that.
Hmm. Yeah, we can do
Let
that.
me ask an unquestion. Let
All
me
right,
ask
you
an
take
uncomfortable
it.
question of the week.
All right.
I think this is a good one. What's something you've outgrown but haven't let go of yet out of fear or guilt?
Ugh.
Both of you were laughing.
Something I've outgrown but haven't let go of. That's tough.
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
Really? I I don't like these. It's not
You
fun.
don't like these.
I feel like I've let go of a lot. Like the person that I was 10 years ago is very different than the person that I am now. I think I think I've outgrown some beliefs about myself, like things that like traits that I don't like about myself and taking them personally. Like are saying, that you're a bad person because you have clutter in your house or whatever, right? It's like goofy stuff like that I need to fully let go of. Because I have realized like clutter is what happens when you don't keep up with decluttering. And there was a period, like it is a process and I have not learned how to do it yet sustainably. I will do like purges, but I would take that as this bad character trait and it's like, no, you're just a human being who's struggling. Like it's accepting these character flaws. Um, and it's a shame spiral and I really wish I could let go of it. Yeah, that's more of
Um, I think I've outgrown um caring about what people think of me anymore. Um, I think maybe because when you get into your 40s, you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and people can judge me, and I don't care.
Hmm.
So I've kind of outgrown that. Don't care. Sometimes I think the fear that I have is that I may lose some of my best friends from it, but I think I've done a good job with the close core of friends that I have, you know? So, but sometimes I have that, ooh, have I stepped over the mark? But then I'm just like, nah, Michelle, you've got a good core of friends, and they've been through the thick and thin, and if I've upset them or whatever, they're going to tell me about it, and then I'm going to apologize, and then we're going to move on. Because you have those people who would just won't apologize and will keep doing that shit, and then realize like, no, stop. Get out of my life. Goodbye.
Have you
So,
seen the videos of the lady with the We Do Not Care Club?
yes.
I love her.
Yes, I have. I think it's funny that all the famous people are jumping on the bandwagon of that. So, when I saw Dr. Mary Haver, like the We Do Not Care Club, I was like, this woman is following this other woman. It was great. It was funny. It was very
Yeah.
funny.
I'm all here for the We Do Not Care Club.
I know. Me
Yeah.
too. Dory, did you want to close this out or are you still pleading the fifth?
Yeah, I think it's very similar. I think it's the because yesterday being Ken's birthday, I thought I should be posting something and some sort of, when I had people going, we should go do this, we should do this, we should, all these different things. And I, for me, go, what do I want to do? What do
Mhm.
I need right now? And I think that I don't think, as I say, I think of like, because I believe that one of my things is I have the tendency to go, what does everybody else want from this situation? Instead of saying, what do I need? So starting to ask now more, what do I need? And so I may not show up to things, or I may show up to other things that you wouldn't think that you'd see me at, or maybe not doing something that because I don't want to do it. That is a big thing for me. Yeah.
Nice.
Lots of wisdom shared in this episode. Thank you guys for
I
showing up.
know. That
Thank
was an
you. So
interesting
happy
first,
we're back, y'all.
I know, interesting first episode for season 2. Yay!
Hot damn. We're back at it. All right. Well, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao! Thanks for tuning in to Life Coaches Unfiltered. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or follow us on social media. Got a question you've been afraid to ask? Send it our way at lifecoachesunfiltered@gmail.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep questioning, and stay unfiltered.